Hello and welcome. My name is Emily Loeb, and on behalf of the Holocaust Center of Pittsburgh, I want to let you know that we are so happy that you are able to join us for this important and joyous event. For those of you who are new to our work, the Holocaust Center's mission is to connect the horrors of the Holocaust and anti-Semitism with injustices of today. And through education, we seek to address these injustices and empower individuals to build a more humane and civil society. We organize and facilitate a host of community and school-facing events and programs to accomplish this, and the center is now part of the new Tree of Life. The program you are attending this evening has been 2.5 years in the making. In the summer of 2023, my colleague, Nick Haberman of the Light Education Initiative, passed along an email about a student who wanted to create a Holocaust education patch program for the Girl Scouts. Our team is small, so we internally discussed if we had the capacity to do this, and then reached out to Lily Sassani to schedule a meeting in the fall. And well, that was the beginning of what turned out to be over 2 years of working with Lily and will be something that continues into the future. Tonight's program is the result of lots of people's hard work. To start, I want to thank Lily for approaching us with this idea, for working so hard throughout high school to accomplish this huge goal, and for listening to and incorporating feedback she received. We all know how difficult it can be to hear that something you worked on for so hard needs to be edited and revised, and she did that with more grace and maturity than many adults with whom we work. I also want to thank Lily's mom, Rachel, who drove Lily to our office multiple times for day-long sessions where we worked on the patch and the curriculum, as well as Lily's dad, Luke, and her family and teachers for their support. The entire Holocaust Center staff helped on the back end of this project, providing feedback on the patch and the curriculum. I especially want to thank and acknowledge Julia Catano, who asked to be part of this project as she was once a Girl Scout. Julia helped with video production, created all the incredible posters you see around the room, and provided incredible insight on the curriculum, and even negotiated with the patch production companies along with me, met with Lily every week for 2 years. On behalf of Lily and me, thank you, Julia. I also, I also want to extend a thank you to our generation speaker, Debbie Stuber, who's here tonight, and her mom, Edith, who shared Edith's experience of being a Girl Guide in France during the war. And Dr. Melissa Marks, who's also one of our Holocaust Center generation speakers and is a professor at the University of Pittsburgh, Greensburg, who provided feedback on the curriculum. Finally, I want to thank Girl Scouts Western Pennsylvania, and especially Amber Carson and Brittany Brown, as well as Lily's Gold Award mentor, Amy Neal, who's also with us tonight. And one of the most important people I want to thank is Judy Cohen and all the trustees from the Jewish Women's Foundation of Greater Pittsburgh for supporting this project. Their financial support was critical to having our staff be able to work on this project. I've spoken with many people from the Jewish Women's Foundation, and I know that we all feel like we're participating in something that's really special and has the potential to add something new to Holocaust education. Before I turn the microphone over to Lily, I want to explain the order of events for tonight's program. So after Lily speaks, we'll be watching a 25-minute video that provides an overview of the development of the Holocaust Education Patch Program. And then we'll provide a very brief explanation of where we are now in the process. And then we will open it up to all of you, and you can ask us questions about the process and the experience. And then we can have some cookies and brownies and chat. So now I'm going to invite up Lily Sassani, who will talk about this experience.
Thank you so much, Emily. Hi, everyone. If you aren't familiar with me, my name is Lily Sassani. Before we begin, I want to give everyone who is here a huge thank you. I've been working on this passion project for the past 2.5 years while balancing school and extracurriculars and generally the unforgiving life of a teenage girl. But in these 2.5 years, I got to create something really special with Emily and Julia. And I'm so happy to have the opportunity to officially talk about it with them. I had a very strong sense of what was right and what was wrong when I was younger, but I never really knew how to put it into words or how to stand up for myself without fearing rejection or embarrassment. As far as I know, I'm the only Jewish student in my grade, and that's contributed to me feeling like an outsider, especially in middle school. I knew that the way some of my peers didn't take the Holocaust seriously while we were studying it in middle school was wrong, and I knew that the right thing to do would be to speak out. But I was afraid that speaking out would mean that people wouldn't like me. So the pain I felt from being misunderstood was something that I carried quietly. To younger me, it felt like a problem that only I would care about. When I started high school, I wanted to rectify that by earning my Gold Award. The Gold Award is the highest award a Girl Scout can earn, and not many older girls try to pursue it or even continue Girl Scouts altogether. My mom, however, my biggest motivator, she was always finding ways to encourage me, whether it was helping me brainstorm or planning study sessions. She inspired me to connect my passion for history with my identity as a Jewish Girl Scout and create an educational patch about the Holocaust and the role of Girl Guides and Girl Scouts during the war. My mom supported me and encouraged me to reach out to Nick Haberman from the Light Education Initiative through my school's Light chapter. Since Light and the Holocaust Center are part of the same organization, he connected me with the Holocaust Center. I really don't know how to thank my mom and everyone who supported me for helping us get where we are. After more than 2 years of hard work, we've created the first Girl Scouts Holocaust education patch of Western Pennsylvania. Our curriculum covers several topics, such as an overview of the Holocaust and a debunking of misconceptions connected to it. Along with that, the curriculum teaches about various different Girl Guides who did resistance work during the war, based on my research from the book How the Girl Guides Won the War and Girl Guides of Ravensbrück. Outside of what I learned in those two books, the curriculum also addresses the effects of the war in America, where Girl Scouts were impacted in many ways. While many girls strengthen morale by encouraging others to sell U.S. war bonds and growing victory gardens, many Japanese Girl Scouts were unfortunately placed in internment camps following the attack on Pearl Harbor. Yet these girls bravely continued meeting and defied the assumptions that our country had of them, proving that the Girl Scouts is a program that transcends the walls or obstacles others may put up to hinder it. As for how the Girl Guides won the war, I had the absolute pleasure of interviewing the author of the book, Janie Hampton, alongside Emily and Julia. She is both an amazing writer and a person that I look up to. And I don't think I can say I've met anyone who has as much whimsy and wisdom as she does. Her book was an inspiration for the project, and she was able to tell me about her personal experience as a former Girl Guide and why she wanted to write the book. When she spoke, I learned that she and the Girl Guides, whose stories she tells, share many traits, but one that stood out the most was determination. She was dedicated to honoring the women and girls before us who lost their lives fighting for freedom and humanity, and she's truly a woman that inspires me in everything that she does. I am so, so grateful for her and her book. And as for Girl Guides of the Holocaust, even though we tried, we weren't able to get in personal contact with the author, Anna Kwiatkowska-Bieda. But she is an accomplished writer, and I am so happy that we were able to order the book in Polish and that I was able to translate it via Google Translate. The stories she tells in this book are stories of heroism I never would have known if it weren't for this project. These women of all sorts of backgrounds, imprisoned and tortured in the all-female concentration camp Ravensbrück, were united by guiding, and they used their code to help others survive. They were fundamental in getting the outside world to know what was really happening inside the camp, whereas the world was blind to the true horrors the Holocaust wrought. One of the first opportunities I had to talk about my project was at the Hannistown World War II reenactment site, where I was invited by the education coordinator, Kelton Edmonds. I got to speak in front of a room of attendees about the various stories within my curriculum, and it was a great success. I even got to give the same presentation in front of my school's history club, whose one sponsor is here tonight too. Hi, Mr. Rossi. As for designing the patch, I designed it myself with additional tips and advice by the Holocaust Center staff. I really can't thank the entire staff of the Holocaust Center enough for what they've done for me and my project. Emily and Julia have connected me with a community of people that I felt incredibly supported and accepted by, and the staff has always been eager to work with me. They've gone above and beyond to make me feel like a part of the community. If you look around, you probably notice the posters around here about the patch. I hope you've gotten the chance to see because it points out details and tidbits about it, since a lot more went into it than you think. Thank you so much, Julia, for making the posters. I also cannot speak about this project without acknowledging the crucial role that the Jewish Women's Foundation of Pittsburgh played in helping us do the work we did. It was their funding that allowed me and the Holocaust Center to meet, collaborate, and create this project as swiftly as we did, and they have given me an enormous amount of support. I don't think I'd be able to name everyone who's contributed to or supported this project at once, but I am so grateful to have been trusted by you all to create something that honors Girl Scouts as a universal program and the Jewish community. It's what I set out to do in the first place, to bridge the gap between the two, and I finally get to see that happen. You don't know how happy it makes me and how excited I am for the future. Gold Award is the highest honor that a Girl Scout can earn doing Girl Scouts. The prerequisites are that you have to earn a Silver Award, which is the highest honor for a middle school Girl Scout, and you have to do a Journey curriculum and a Take Action project in high school. The difference between a Silver Award and a Gold Award is that the Silver Award, you can work on it with a group, with a friend, but for the Gold Award, it's really stressed that you do it independently, and that's because it's meant to be more of a significant, sustainable project that really impacts the community on a deeper level. And it's also important because it creates an educational project that really symbolizes your commitment to the laws that Girl Scout stands for.
I myself have been a Girl Scout for more than 40 years. I really believe in the program, and I do feel that it is the premier organization for girls. It is a place that is a safe space. It is encouraging. It teaches girls to be leaders. We're seeing that leadership today in this thing that we're doing together, and I can't say enough good things about the program.
So I became a Girl Scout leader of Lily's troop when she was in kindergarten, and I fell in love with the program and I wanted to learn more. So I was searching on Amazon for books about Girl Scouts in general, Juliette Gordon Lowe, the founder of Girl Scouts, and I came across the title, How the Girl Scouts Won the War by Janie Hampton. And so I ordered it and I read it and I loved it. It wasn't something that I really wanted to talk to Lily about, though, at the time because she was so young. And I thought that, when she was older, I definitely wanted to see if she would read the book. And so a few years ago, she did. And she was also at the time thinking about wanting to do her Gold Award project. And she made the connection between pairing what she learned in that book with Holocaust education. And I thought it was an amazing idea. And I was just really excited to see what she would do with it.
I knew that for my Gold Award project, I wanted to do something that connected with my identity and for it to be something that I was passionate about. And history is something that I feel very connected with. And one thing I'd already been familiar with was the role that the Girl Guides and the Girl Scouts played during World War II, which I learned through Janie Hampton's book, How the Girl Guides Won the War. The story she tells in that book about girls and women who are risking their lives for their sisters really moved something in me. And it made me realize how important it is for young girls to feel like they have a community they can depend on and feel accepted in. And I thought it would be a great way to do that through this kind of patch program, and which is an especially great way to educate people about this topic because it gives girls a hands-on experience that allows them to connect with their community on a deeper level, to really understand the topic, feel like part of the topic. And it's really just a great way in teaching girls about the Girl Guides and the role they play in the program and how their program helped restore humanity in a really dark time.
So when we're first doing project selection, right, everyone's proposals comes to everyone on the committee and we take a look at them. We look the good, the bad, and the ugly. Believe me, there was not much bad or ugly about this one. And we kind of decide who's going to be the best mentor for this girl. And sometimes more than one person pops up and we look at who has numbers and who needs one. But I spoke up very strongly at this particular project, again, because it spoke to me particularly as an educator myself. So we talk about what went on with the proposals and the discussion of that, what was good, what needs to be tweaked, what we're going to really continue to work through as you work through your project.
I reached out to the Holocaust Center through the LIGHT program in my school, which I was a part of in my sophomore year. And I still remember setting up my first phone meeting with Emily and Julia. I was in the closet of my choir room during choir rehearsal, like totally sweating, like clutching my note sheet in this tiny little closet while the choir was rehearsing outside. And I was thinking, like, I'm about to call like the Holocaust Center of Pittsburgh, and I'm like just a student. How am I going to do this? And like the answer was just I just had to do it. Like simple as that. I felt really scared, nervous, and awkward, and I was very inexperienced, but I did it while being all those things because I didn't want those things to be stronger than my want to teach people about what my curriculum had to offer about the Girl Guides to the Holocaust. And Emily and Julia saw that, and they believed in me, even with me being so inexperienced and young. And I'm really grateful to them for trusting me and for guiding me through this process of making these connections, designing the curriculum, and building preliminary skills for my future.
I was a Girl Scout 10 years ago, and I know how important the program can be to young girls. And it was always a really fun way to discover new opportunities and learn things that you might not learn in school. And I really wanted to be a part of that. In addition to being really excited to work with Lily because she was a Girl Scout, and it would be this incredible project developing a Girl Scout patch, I was also really excited because I didn't know anything about the Girl Guides or the Girl Scouts and their role in World War II and during the Holocaust. And no one else did either that I talked to in any capacity. And it really shows beyond that girls and women are often discluded from history and from the stories we tell. And they did incredible things that deserve to be recognized. And it shows that in other parts of history, there are also these stories that aren't known or taught. And maybe it'll encourage people to learn about those too.
I think one of the biggest surprises of this project was realizing that we weren't just going to be mentoring Lily, but we were going to be working with Lily a lot. When she reached out to us in the summer of 2023 and proposed this idea, one, we didn't really know that much about the Girl Guides and Girl Scouts roles during the Holocaust and during World War II. And so she had this big idea in her head, and we were going to help mentor her to make that turn into a patch and curriculum. And we then applied for funding from the Jewish Women's Foundation of Greater Pittsburgh and received it to be able to spend some time with Lily. What we didn't realize is that we would be working with her every week. We've met almost every week for the last 2.5 years. And when you think about it, we started talking to her the summer after her freshman year, and I just wrote a letter of recommendation for her to go to college. And you don't get that kind of intimate working relationship with that many people in our field. We have long relationships with educators, but not often students. And it's been a real joy to work with her. She is smart. She's well-spoken. She's incredibly creative. And she also is determined to finish the goals that she sets out to achieve.
I had an opportunity to meet Emily Loeb, and she came to me with this idea for this incredible program. I seem to recall it was during the summer. We were sitting outside, and she just started talking about this, and her excitement was palpable. And everything she described fit so perfectly with our mission and framework of funding with a gender and social change lens. That I encouraged her to apply for a grant with the Jewish Women's Foundation.
I first learned about this project when I was working closely with Emily Loeb, who is the director of the Holocaust Center. And she was very excited about this young freshman girl from Lower Borough who had a vision. And the more Emily talked about it, the more excited I became about it. And especially as a trustee for the Jewish Women's Foundation, I was excited because our entire purpose for being an organization is to find wonderful programs that serve women and girls. I don't think when we began our organization that we ever envisioned that a 15-year-old would be one of those wonderful guiding lights that was planning to do things that would help to make this world a better place.
Included in the curriculum, we have interviews with Janie Hampton, the author of How the Girl Guides Won the War, which was an amazing experience to get to interview her. We interviewed a Holocaust survivor, Edith Loister, and her daughter and generation speaker, Debbie Stuber, which was also an amazing experience, getting to hear about their stories and how the Holocaust impacted their lives and their families' lives. And another source of my information was also this amazing book, completely written in Polish. I couldn't understand it, but I knew that it had information really crucial about the Ravensbrück guides, so I bought the book and I used Google Translate to translate it for me. And we were even also assisted by an education professor at Pitt, Melissa Marks, when building the curriculum itself. And she provided us really crucial insight when it came to the designing and the formatting of the curriculum.
You had pointed out that throughout history, like the work of the Girl Guides and the resistance efforts throughout the Holocaust, not a lot of people knew about them. Like you had mentioned, like people like, I didn't know anything about this. And even we, before reading your book, didn't know anything about the work they had done. Why do you think that is? Why do you think that their voices haven't been uplifted throughout history?
Because who listens to women? Who listens to children? You know, most writers or historians, or particularly official historians, will go to the most important. So, you know, there's probably hundreds of biographies of all of your presidents, but not many of their children, or more important, the children who are just doing ordinary things and useful things. So I think it's quite a 21st century idea to really go for the women, go for the girls, find out what they were actually up to. And I mean, some of the stories I found about what the Girl Guides were doing during the Blitz in London when it was being bombed were quite extraordinary and brave. And, you know, their first aid practice came in and they, you know, there might be blood all over the place and people screaming, but they just got down and got on with it.
Out of all the Girl Guides from all the different countries that you wrote about in this book, which were the most interesting to write about for you?
Well, there were so many. I mean, the most difficult thing, you know, once I got going was having to leave things out. Because when you start to write a book, you've got no idea what you're going to find. Particular ones, I think the girls and the brown owl who were in the concentration camp in China under the Japanese rule were extraordinary. And I couldn't believe that I actually found about 10 of them. And they all said that although it was appalling to live in a camp with no parents and no idea how long you were going to be there for 4 years, it had changed all their lives. I didn't actually meet the Polish guides because they were all killed, or the ones that I know about. But I read documents, I read their diaries. I had a Polish friend who translated, and I went to Poland on the day, the 1st of August is the day that they don't celebrate, they remember the siege of Warsaw, when the Soviet army was on one side of the river and the Nazi army on the other, and they just overran the Polish people. And there's a bit in my book where I found this description of the last in a completely bombed city. And these guides were amazing. They understood the sewage pipes and they could help people escape from the ghettos through the sewage. And they'd be wading up to here in sewage, holding a rope in the dark. And the manhole covers, if you can imagine a pipe just a bit higher than you, full of yuck, the Nazis would lift the manhole covers and drop mines in. And sometimes people would die while they were going, and you just had to keep going. but these guides knew the way in the pitch dark. And if somebody tripped and fell into the sewage, they just had to keep going to keep the others out. And then they would come up through a tunnel and escape if they were lucky. Many of them got arrested, not because they were bad at carrying secrets, but they would be just random arrests. The Nazis would just get on a tram or a bus and just pick random people and take them away. And as far as we know, no guide ever revealed any secrets. But we do know that over 500 girl guides were hanged for being spies. So, you know, these are teenagers. So when I went there on a few years ago, on the 1st of August, I went to the cemetery because that's what everybody does. And there was this row of girl guides. And I felt very, very emotional and started weeping. And my Polish friend said, I don't understand. You've never been here before. Well, why are you weeping? You don't know these people. And you're not related to them. And I said, I do know them. I know their names. I know their stories. I feel like I know them.
The Holocaust Education Patch Program is important because it's a unique entry point for us to teach about the Holocaust and this important part of the Holocaust. Most of the time we're working with educators and then they're taking our resources into the classroom or we're coming and presenting to students. This is really different because we've now helped a student to create a curriculum that girls will use outside of the classroom.
This has been such a cool project. As an educator myself, I am very into when I always pick the girls that have strong educational pieces in their projects. I think it's such a positive thing. And watching what started as this idea morph into this amazing project with so much depth and so many ideas, it has just been amazing to watch.
Not only does Lily do a really good job of introducing scouts to the Girl Guides in their role, she also does a really good job and found it really important to introduce the Holocaust itself as a topic. And she kept in mind that some of the Girl Scouts might not have learned anything about the Holocaust in school. So she does a really good job of introducing that in a way that is age appropriate and very succinct and easy to digest.
There was this point in the development of this project where we realized that a patch was going to need to be created. And we kept thinking the patch has to be something that the girls will look at and want to have it on their sash or their vest. But it also has to convey the seriousness of the topic. It is about the Holocaust. And we had been talking internally about how is she going to create something that conveys both of these things and is still pretty to look at. And when she said that she would create some sketches and send them to us, we had no idea that in addition to being an incredible speaker and a great writer and a really dedicated student, she was also a fantastic artist. And it's really of no surprise now because we know her dad is an art teacher, but she came back to us with these incredible drawings. And for her to have full ownership of this project, that she not only wrote and developed this curriculum, but she also designed and created this patch was something and is something that she should be really proud of.
We went through so many different concepts in the patch before landing on the one we thought exemplified it most. And the one that we landed on is a girl guide with her head high, empowered to rebuild her world in spite of the traumas of war, and inspired to uplift her sisters into doing the same. She's in front of a brick wall, which typically a brick wall is symbolic of the ghettos and the concentration camps that the people were imprisoned in. And she has the Girl Scout uniform, the Girl Guide uniform, the hat, and she also has a clover on her jacket. And the meaning of the clover on the jacket, which is also explained in the curriculum, is that for Girl Guides to be able to recognize each other in Ravensbrück, is that they would have a clover on the inside of their jacket, which is the Girl Scout symbol. They would have it, and if they were passing each other, they would show them their clover, And then they'd be able to recognize each other and be able to plan secret meetings and secret get-togethers to talk about what they could do to help other people in the camp.
So the Girl Guides only began in Britain in 1910. But this is the sort of hat that a Girl Guide would have worn in 1910. And it's made out of rush woven. So the girls would have made them themselves. And a friend of mine knows how to do this. And I said, I want one so that I can look like a 1910 Girl Guide.
And another big thing about the patch too was that there were a lot of things we had to abide, like the Girl Scout copyright laws in general, the patch distribution business we were using. There were certain colors that we had to abide to, that we couldn't do certain stitches. The digital designing process had a lot of things we had to listen to, but overall, the feedback in that process was really fun for me as somebody who enjoys writing and designing. Getting to incorporate both of those interests in this kind of project was really fun for me. Even if it was kind of an interesting process, getting to listen to all these different copyright laws and stuff and make adjustments. But overall, I'm really happy with how it's turned out, the kind of symbol we've created.
Well, first of all, I've been seeing Lily grow up before our eyes. When she started this, I believe she was a sophomore in high school. And watching her develop fully into this program and becoming an expert in this area and being a creator has really been amazing. It's also been great to see, again, something that was a kernel of an idea becoming fully a program that's going to be implemented at the Girl Scouts. Also very exciting was seeing the development of the patch itself, which is beautiful. I keep it on my desk and look at it pretty much every day because I am so excited about what it represents and what this is going to become.
It was really eye-opening for me to experience all these different things and business and collaboration that I hadn't done before. As somebody who didn't really have the experience to be able to visualize how to create this kind of program, the future looked really overwhelming to me when I first started working with Emily and Julia. But it was my opportunity to learn how to do all that, how to make connections. And I wanted to use this opportunity to prepare myself for the future with this project and be able to help educate kids like me, for the future. I was invited to present at the historic Hannistown World War II reenactment site. I spoke to an audience about the curriculum, the points I make in my curriculum about Girl Guides and the Holocaust, and various actions that the Girl Guides took against Nazis during World War II. And we were also approached by newspapers like the Jewish Chronicle and Trib Live to be interviewed about the project. And we were recognized also by GSUSA for our work, the National Girl Scouts Association. And it was also especially an honor to be supported by the Jewish Women's Foundation. We were given grants by them for me and Julie and Emily to be able to work together regularly for 2 years now. And they've shown us an incredible amount of support by we've been given support by esteemed members of the Jewish community in Pittsburgh. And it was really an amazing experience to be at the grantee events and get to talk with all these amazing people, get to sit up on stage and talk about the project and to be supported by these women. It was really an amazing experience. And it's more than I could have ever imagined I'd be doing with a project like this.
I feel that this is so important in today's environment, to teach girls how to be upstanders, how to activate their voices, not to forget the past, but to look forward into the future on how they can be change makers. This is really important work. It means a lot to me personally, as well as the fact that I'm very proud that the Jewish Women's Foundation has been the funder for this work.
I know that we've done something really special because of the responses we've received from community members and from centers and colleagues around the country. I've had people come up to me and say that this project is incredibly innovative. It's like no other Holocaust education program that they've heard about, and that they're really proud of having been part of funding it through the Jewish Women's Foundation. I've also received calls and requests and inquiries from my colleagues around the country. There's interest in either implementing the patch program in their community or emulating it, and that is incredibly exciting because you've opened a new door for people when you get so many incredible responses from different groups of people.
This is a really far-reaching project, and it's not just looking to change the lives of a small group, but really can have an impact on many, many people, which is very cool. I love that it's something that will be accessible into the future. It's very timeless in that someone in 10 years can go to this patch project and it will still be relevant and important. And it's not something that's just in the here and now.
Girls today who pursue the patch will learn about the girls in the past who took great risks to do the right thing that was in front of them at that moment. And it's a really powerful thing to know that this patch program will be used and pursued by girls throughout the region who will then be inspired to take action and to make a real difference in their community. And we're really proud to be part of this project.
It was a huge relief to be able to have it approved by Girl Scouts of Western Pennsylvania. I was so happy to finally have it completed and approved. Like the 2 years we put into it, dedicated towards like community betterment, education. It was so excited to finally see that pay off. And I'm still so excited to get to see girls really appreciate the work that we put into building this kind of patch program for them. And I can't wait to see how it touches different lives within Girl Scouts, within like not even just Pittsburgh, but outside Pittsburgh, outside Pennsylvania. The more people learn about it, the more I feel so hopeful about this project, the more I'm excited to see how strong this project grows. Not even as something associated with Girl Scouts, but as something to help encourage people to keep the memory of these women alive, the memory of the women who saved lives, the memory of these women who were working as heroes during the Holocaust.
Thank you. I want to ask everyone to give Lily a round of applause. I realize that it seems like now that the work is done, all the work is done, but it's really not the case. We're starting this next phase of determining the sustainability of the patch program now that it's been approved, and Lily's going to be going off to college. And the way this type of project works with the Girl Scouts of Western Pennsylvania is that they will promote the curriculum as long as the Holocaust Center of Pittsburgh wants to work with the troops and continues to produce and distribute the patches. And so this next year is going to be dedicated to supporting the troops in our region who pursue the patch and formalizing the copyright for the patch and curriculum so the Holocaust Center can ensure its integrity and so others don't simply replicate it or change it, as flattered as Lily is maybe by that. People don't realize that everything that was created was done through a rigorous and specific process that follows the Girl Scouts rules and their own copyright laws. And so we've received inquiries from troop leaders eager to do the project, including some Boy Scouts who also want to do it, and not just within Western Pennsylvania, but from as far away as California. And we've also, like we said in the video, heard from Holocaust centers in other states as well. So that's what we're going to be focusing on this next year before Lily goes off to college, and really focusing on the sustainability of this program.
Thank you, Emily. She's so great. I still have some last things to do before my Gold Award is completely finished, but it will soon be featured on GSWPA's page as a highlight during January, which is Holocaust Remembrance Month. With that said, we are really amazed by how far we've come. It feels so long ago now that I was just having my first phone call with Emily and Julia, nervous and having no idea what the future was going to look like. But I had a passion, and I'm really proud of myself for stepping out of what I was comfortable with to create a real, tangible product. A younger me would have never thought I was capable of doing this, yet I've had so much support from all kinds of people from communities I wanted to feel a part of. I think if I had to say anything to girls who feel like I did, I'd say to just trust yourself. If you are passionate about something, really passionate, then that passion will speak for itself in the people you inspire and the change you bring. I think that's something a lot of girls should know, that they're capable. And I think that capability for kindness and strength is what makes Girl Scouts, guides, and women such fundamental forces in the world.
So, does anyone have any questions for Lily? And this is Julia. If you didn't know, we are indebted to Julia for everything she's also done on this project.
What was your favorite part of the project?
My favorite part and why? Well, that's really hard. I really enjoyed the artistic process of it when it comes to designing the patch. I'm a very art focused person. As much as I love writing, art is something that I feel like I can just create things that you don't need words to explain how it feels. And when it comes to the Holocaust, I think depicting that in art is really powerful because like that's the kind of thing where how do you explain something like that? So I think when it comes to this patch, it was really fun to work with the center to like create something that conveys like the Girl Guides and doesn't make it look unappealing for Girl Guides to pursue, but it also doesn't like make it look, that it also does the topic justice, that it doesn't make it look too childish or it doesn't like make it look like something it's not. So that was a really interesting process for me. It was really great to get to meet all the different people. Janie Hampton was such a nice lady. If you saw her in the video, she was so funny, right? Like she was great. I loved getting to meet her. I loved getting to meet all sorts of different people. I know we didn't mention her in the video, but Debbie Stuber is also here. She's here, and we got to interview her. She's a generation speaker with the Holocaust Center. Yes. Her mother was a survivor of the Holocaust in France, and we got to interview her and her mother for the curriculum, and the story she tells is so powerful, and I'm so blessed to be able to hear her story from her and from Debbie, and to have guides hear that story as well. So really, like, there's so many different things I could say I enjoyed, but really just like connecting with the community and getting to like create something artistic in the process is really what made me enjoy it the most.
Who teaches the curriculum? Is it to Girl Scout troops? Is it to high school students?
Right. So the troop leader kind of chooses to do the patch in the first place. We have like permission slips and stuff for girls to agree to do the patch depending on the age. And the troop leader really builds the curriculum around what's best for the troop because there are different kinds of Girl Scout troops. There's individual troops of just one girl and one troop leader. There's larger troops of just specific ages, or it could be an all ages troop. So because of that, we made it very flexible for different troop leaders to be able to build the curriculum in ways that's best for the troop. So to answer your question, it's the troop leader that kind of organizes things in a way that's best for the troop.
So the curriculum follows the Girl Scouts 3-step curriculum of discover, connect, take action. And then in each section, what we worked with Lily to do was to create activities and programs that they could pursue to complete each section. So like the discover is really learning about the Girl Scouts, the Holocaust, the Holocaust, but then also the Girl Guides role. And so Lily, there's a 40-minute video that we like recorded Lily doing this, and she did it at school, of explaining what the Girl Guides role was in the Holocaust. Then the connect is really where the Girl Scouts emotionally connect to the topic, and then the take action piece is where they take what they've learned and turn it into a social justice project. And so there's numerous, I can't remember how many in each section, there's different things that the girls can choose.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you want to talk about your experience of doing it with the troop, and then also what Miss Stacy said about her feeling of whether she felt like she could do it on her own.
Sure, yeah, and she's here too. Hi, Miss Stacy.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so the pilot project we did with our first troop was Miss Stacy's troop, and the 3 girls I did it with were amazing. They were very focused. Miss Stacy was very adamant. You have the option to do one of the videos, to do 2 of the videos, but she was very adamant that she wanted them to watch all of them, which I really appreciated because it shows just how much she supports teaching girls about this topic. So I was very I was pretty much at the forefront of it. Her and the other mother of the troop, they helped bring together like snacks and things. They helped bring things together to get us meeting in that building. But I was the one like in the front teaching the girls, as you could see in the photo. And I had a really great time like teaching them and explaining the curriculum, watching the videos with them, building like discussions with them, because all three of the girls, they're different ages and they had different they all had different levels of understanding of the Holocaust. So it was really great to see them like all learn over time what the curriculum had to offer. And at the end of the project, Miss Stacy told me that even if it wasn't me at the front teaching them, even if it was a troop leader, she said that she was very certain that any troop leader would be able to teach this and have the same connection. It would work with anybody teaching it. It wouldn't have to just be me. It's very flexible. And I think that's great because that's what it's for. It's to kind of test the waters with different troops, to see if it's applicable to Girl Scouts, if they enjoy it. And because there's so many different options, I think a wide variety of Girl Scouts would be able to enjoy it because there's some things that things that they might not enjoy. There's always an option to do something else. And like what Emily said with the take action, there's all sorts of different options for girls to do to connect with their community for the last phase of their project. They can volunteer to work at a women's refugees place. They can donate things. They can organize for a generation speaker like Debbie to come to their school and speak about their experience. There's a whole variety of things for them to do.
How long does it take to earn the patch?
It really depends. I know some girls, the older they are, the more their schedules get a little bit, so it may take a little bit on the longer side, but because we have this open for girls in middle school, I'd say it probably depends. I know there's a patch in a day thing where girls can if you're camping somewhere, you could pursue the patch in a day, so do everything in the same day. So it really depends on how the troop leader organizes it and what works best for the troop. But I'd say it could be between 1 day to 1 month, really just as long as it needs to take.
Yeah.
So yeah.
You could do the discover in 1 week, the connect in 1 week, and the take action in 1 week. I think Miss Stacy, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, they did the discover and connect in 1 day, and then they're doing their take action in a follow-up program.
There's one in the back.
We have Miss Debbie Stuber herself.
Ooh, yay!
3 comments, Lily. 1, my mother was honored to be interviewed by you. 2, you are such an inspiration to young women. I don't know you that well, but I'm so very proud of you. And the 3rd comment was to reiterate what you said earlier. I'd be happy to speak to the Girl Scouts of Western Pennsylvania, along with my mom and my dad, who are both survivors and still alive. And my last question is, so this Holocaust education patch, first of all, it's obvious that it's starting to grow, and I hope that it's nationwide, since Holocaust education is not required in all 50 states, so this would be a great way. Is the patch itself going to be the patch that you hope it to be nationally?
So that's a good question. So there's 2 different ways you can go about creating something like this in Girl Scouts. There's a patch and there's a badge. A patch is something that's meant to be more local. We are trying to get it to reach outside of Western Pennsylvania, which is our hope, and we already have many, many people reaching out from different states saying they'd love to do this in their own way, in their own state. They'd love to pursue it themselves, even outside of the state. And we even have accommodations for that in the curriculum. That's why we have it pushed to do local things and not just things specifically to the center, though we would like them to support the center. Yep. And with a badge, however, that is something that's not quite through GSWPA, that's GSUSA, which is the Girl Scout program of the United States of America, which requires a lot more paper writing, a lot more signing, a lot more working with people on the national level. We chose to do the patch program because we felt it would be the best way to connect with local communities better. And I'm really happy we did, because I've got to meet so many amazing people because of it. And it's going to have really the same impact as it would as GSUSA. So I hope that answers your question. Oh, here you go.
Yeah, when we worked with the Girl Scouts of Western Pennsylvania, they explained the complicated aspect of going to a badge versus a patch, which is I think the three of us are now very well versed in Girl Scout copyright law, and so they really encouraged us to go to the patch because as soon as you go to the badge, the Girl Scouts take it over, and you lose. I think they then develop the curriculum. And so this allowed it to really be Lily's Gold Award project. The other thing is that they explained to us that when they partner with organizations, they can advertise it to other councils. So for example, Ohio, they'll advertise a patch program and Girl Scouts wherever can use that. So that's what we'll be doing. And then when I talked to Amber at Girl Scouts, she explained this next phase is really looking at our own copyright so that as we know that the Holocaust Center, if we're responsible for developing the patch, one of the things that we've talked to Lily about is wanting to be able to give attribution to her for creating the patch. But then, as Lily, I think once said, she doesn't want it to become clip art. And so it's really important that we establish that copyright with someone who will, with the organization that will honor like Lily's wishes as she moves on in her life and world.
And I'll say Lily was very intentional in designing the curriculum so that there are many local aspects, but also stated alternatives that troops can do across the country. Some that they can find their own Holocaust Center to go to, something or things online. Our generation speakers, they do virtual, so they can do it anywhere in the country. And I'll also note that Debbie's mom is a former Girl Scout. She was a Girl Scout in France.
Wonderful, it's just wonderful. I have a question too. So are there other examples of someone as young as you doing what you did?
I know one of the patch projects I used as kind of an example for how to build my curriculum was a racial justice patch that's also in GSWPA. There were other patches I used as examples to like build like the structure of the curriculum that weren't specifically like social justice centered. But I really think this is the first of its kind when it comes to Holocaust education. And
no, I don't mean that. Someone as young as you.
I hope so. I mean, I hope I'm not the only one. Oh, Amy can probably comment on that.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, Amy can talk about that.
Sure. I'm a volunteer with Girl Scouts, and I happen to be Lily's Gold Award advisor, which means I had to do almost nothing because she had it under control. I believe that the racial justice patch was created by adults. I don't think there's been a patch program created by a girl of this scope at this point. So, yay, Lily.
Yeah. I can say that one of the things that Amber at Girl Scouts told me is that as a result of this patch program and Lily doing it as her Gold Award, it required them to actually develop a process to support a Girl Scout who wanted to do this because they'd never done anything like this before. I think there's the Rachel Carson patch, which might have been someone doing that, but nothing this complex. And so there was a moment where Lily, it was early in her sophomore year, said, I've never done anything this big. And we realized, we need to help her take an idea and translate it into something. And we introduced Google spreadsheets and task drop-down menus of like not started, in process, completed, and I don't know how many tasks were on that, like 50?
I probably have like 200,000 emails in my like email folder, so many different docs. But I mean, we did it. I learned a lot of skills from this project. I mean, if I had known from the beginning how much work I would have been doing, I would have been like, oh my god. But yeah, it was great. It was worth it. I don't regret any of it. That was a lot of fun. Your glasses.
Are there any other? Oh,
Yes. Since you are going off to college, is there anybody that you're mentoring to continue, or is there a need to continue this beyond what you've already done, or is it well established?
Thank you. That's a great question. So the way that patch programs are built, whoever creates the patch I don't need to really mentor anyone to continue it, because that's the troop leader's duty then to have it be done by the community. So I can go off to college and I won't need to regularly, I will check in if things need to be changed, obviously, but my mom's laughing because she knows more about this than I do. But yeah, I won't need to mentor anyone. It's really in the Holocaust Center's hands now what happens from now on with the patch, but it will always be accessible. They've said that they will always have it accessible. Anyone can do it. It won't be like a life commitment for me. I can go off to college and be, oh, I'm free. But I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, that's that sustainability piece that I was talking about. So what Amber told me is, like, we will promote the curriculum as long as the Holocaust Center wants to distribute and house the patches and run the program. And so that's what I would say this next year is really important for us to figure out how we do it, because it's now just not a project that we're doing in the back end. It's now people who will be calling the center, and we don't know whether it'll be 50 patches that are requested this year or 5,000. We don't know. And so the way Girl Scouts works is you can like charge for the patch and shipping, but that's it, right? But then, as we all know with organizations, there's staff time, there's all these things. So that's a lot of the work that we're gonna figure out and start tracking, like how much time does it take to actually support the patch? And because we want to keep it going, and we know the significance of it and the potential of it, and I think we're all really invested in it.
There's a hand back there. We're gonna answer. Hi.
Hi. So my first question is, I want to do it for my trip, but will it be ready, and like how do we sign up?
What's your name?
Addison.
Hi, Addison. Of course, yeah. This project is going to be posted by GSWPA by January. So if you go onto their website, they're going to have it featured on your page. Your troop leader will be able to access it and be able to do it for their troop. What's your rank?
What?
What rank are you in Girl Scouts?
Cadet.
Cadet. That's awesome. Yeah, we'd love for your troop to do it. It's definitely going to be posted by January. So I'd let your troop leader know, hey, let's do this patch. That's awesome. Did you have a second question? No? Okay. Thank you so much.
There was a question up here.
That was my question.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Do we have any more hands? Oh, one over here.
So how do patches work? I thought it was like a badge, but it's not a badge. So does it go on a uniform, or does it go on that? I'm very clueless, so.
It will be on a uniform. If you can see, you might not be able to see well, depending on where you're sitting. It's on my chest right now. Both of them will be on your uniform, so you can show people.
So badges is on one side and patches another?
The placement can depend. Typically badges will be on the front, and some different kinds of patches will be on the back. I got a whole bunch on my back for different things. I'll just do like a little spin around. I feel like a museum. Oh, look at all these different things. But no, yeah, badges, like we said, patches, different things, but they both kind of accomplish a similar thing, just at different levels of the program. So yeah.
Hi, this is a little bit of an unrelated question to the patch, but I was wondering, when you go off to college, are you going to continue to pursue I know you said you had a passion for history, are you going to continue to pursue that in college?
I would love to. That's actually one of the things that's gotten my mom really mad at me because, well, no, not because of the history, but because anytime someone asks me, oh, what are you majoring in college? I always say something different. And it's usually between art history and graphic design and theater management and filmmaking. And so it's definitely something that I would love to still be invested in. I love museum work. I love history. I think it's really important to remember things. I love incorporating with art. Right now, I have my major in Kent declared as visual communications design and creative writing. So I would love to be able to incorporate that with history And I would love to like continue, making history part of my life and teaching other people about it through like the things I make in the future. So I hope that answers your question.
I think she's qualified to make her own major by now.
Thank you, Julia. Do we have any other questions? I don't know.
Yeah. If we don't have any other questions, we can break.
Oh, I have one more thing. Thank you, Mom, for pointing that out. I have thought that Emily, Julia, and Amy Meal deserve their flowers for helping me so much in this project. So I wanted to give them flowers. Julia, come here. How could you do that? Thank you so much, guys.
We're so proud of you.
Thank you.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, wait. Oh.
She wants a picture.
Okay. And then we can break for cookies and brownies.
Don't eat, guys. Those cookies are really good. I already had one.